Okay, this is Aaron again with Exalted Lamb 1 and have my part 3 out. Wow, I can't wait to get this out to you. So, I thought I might have it out yesterday, but of course, family stuff happens, life happens, and it just ends up being the day of the timeline I'm talking about. So, we'll see what happens today. So far, nothing big yet, but the day is still young in a sense, and a lot of times I don't know until the next day what's going to happen. So, and I want to say something up front as well. So, on my timeline, if you haven't watched this yet, please watch part 1 first and then part 2 because you're going to miss a lot on my explanation and everything if you haven't watched part 1. And then part 2 is huge. I reveal a lot of things in iPad Goat. I do a lot of specific scenes that talk about the 7th and 8th day and other things. Today I'm going to talk more about something else and then also probably the last few days. So the tsunami days and the last days and some other stuff. But so anyway, I just wanted to preface that and say that this first day, 10/10/2020, is a crazy day, but it could just be symbolic that some things happened. Something will probably happen, but it won't be massively major necessarily. It could be. I mean, I'm not as confident about the first day because I don't see any particular event tied to it that I do with the definitely the 4th and 5th, the 7th and 8th, the 11th and 12th, and 13th and 14th. So, and again, if you don't know what those are because you haven't watched part 1, please watch part 1 and part 2. And those are kind of lengthy. They're a couple hours, but hopefully this won't be as long. So, and then usually I go up until the 7th and 8th day and see how this, plays out. And I might put something out if something definitely does hit on the 4th and 5th, or sooner or whatever. I might put something out letting you know that if you already don't know and you can't tell already. So, but I'm most confident about the 7th and 8th day, 11th and 12th, 13th and 14th. The 4th and 5th, I just recently got understanding about as far as the particular day on the floor in iPad Go with the death face and then the meteor or comet coming through or something. That's been about 5-6 months ago. So I'm not as confident about that, but I think that's definitely programming and such. So we'll see. We'll see. So again, any number of these things can happen any of these days. So we'll see how it goes and how it plays out. With that being said, also I want to say, like I said many times, and all my videos pretty much, there might be an exception here or there, but this is my big guess. Okay, I call it my grand guess. So it's always a guess. Of course, the numbers they fall almost perfectly on this time frame, like never before. But ultimately, this still is my guess, and I'm doing the best I can to try to figure this out. And ultimately, it's really to support people and to warn them. And there's a lot of reasons for this. A lot of people can't understand why would someone put out dates or they think there's something wrong with that. You got to understand the psychology that the Lord Jesus has in mind, and He's interested in people's long-term profit. He is interested in warning them before things happen, but he won't say specifically the date, and I believe until the very last moment or the last few days, and that's thus my time frame. But there's a lot of reasons for that. It's to support people ultimately, and it's to show them His power and that He can. He does do prophecy ahead of time, and the dates. He doesn't want people to fall back and just give up, or He doesn't want people to just get lazy and stuff. And He talks about that in the Word. So there's a number of reasons why He doesn't give this stuff right away, and He'll tell it at the very end. In fact, the Bible says to Daniel, He says, "Seal up these things until the very end." So I believe it's available to know at the very end. That's what it says. Seal them up until the very end. So then it's available to know. Otherwise, what's the point of even saying that? So there's other scriptures, like it says the Bible in Amos, it says that God doesn't do anything unless He reveals it to His prophets and things. And I am prophetic, but I won't say I'm a prophet. I'm very prophetic. I've had dreams and visions and things. And I certainly, like other prophets out there, I have not gotten exact dates. Now, it's possible that through all this stuff the Lord showed me, that I have these dates and it's completely right on. It's also probably more than probable that I don't have it right. So there you go. And I've always said that. So just keep that in mind. Take it with a grain of salt. You decide. And if anything else, it's just a warning of what's coming. And these codes, in fact, are right. And you'll see it. If you watch part 1 and part 2 and now part 3, you will see what I'm saying is correct. As far as, these codes are right. What the elites are doing is right. It's just a matter of hitting on the right times and the right days. So we'll see how that works out. So let me go forward here. So as I shared in one of my videos, about the gold and silver gates, I have a unique discovery that I found that no one else has really talked about. And that's called I call it the Golden Gate alignment. In fact, as you see here on the screen, in 2019, on November 9th, which is 9/11 backwards, and it's also the 219 code for 2019. There's several things going on here. It's 9/11 and it's 9111. Anyway, Sirius was in a particular spot west of the west version of the ecliptic, the west side of the ecliptic, right there, as you can see. And as I've shared before, even last the first video, it lines up completely. Now look, this is October 17th, and boom, I'm going back and forth, back and forth. Same, pretty much the same exact spot. Boom, boom. Okay, and that has to do with then the separation between those two is what I've been looking at. And also what I've been looking at is this. So this is the Golden Gate. I'm calling this the Golden Gate alignment. This is with the Lord. The Lord's basically done this. He's led me to this. So I give him ultimately the credit. But if you want to give a person credit, it's me. Just because I found it through him. And I'm just saying, I don't really want the credit. I'm just saying that, I found this particular Golden Gate alignment through his leading. And no one else has talked about this. And what's substantial about this Golden Gate alignment is it's 5 planets in a row. You have Saturn, Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, and then Mars, and then the Sun in there as well as this alignment. And it aligned right above the Golden Gate Bridge, and this is all on purpose. Okay, this is all by God to design that it would line up. But then man, or the Luciferians, basically constructed this Golden Gate, called it the Golden Gate, which has to do with the opening of the Golden Gate, in the heavens. Okay, they constructed that there for their own mythology and their own, future telling of the Antichrist coming, his birth, and everything. And so that's what I'm showing here. And what is my evidence of that? Not only do I have a perfect alignment here of these planets and the sun, so basically 6 celestial bodies. Also, and look at it, and we have the time here and everything on the west coast here. We also have it's pointing to, well, let's just say this, it's pointing to the opening of the Golden Gate. So this right here, right now, this is as of today, Saturn and Jupiter, and today is the 10th. So it's my first day of my timeline, which is about 14 days long. And Saturn and Jupiter, if you basically connect them, is drawing a line straight through the Golden Gate. Now I'm going to show you where the cross beam is for the Golden Gate. Now you can see here, we're on the edge of the Milky Way galaxy, or as we're told anyway. What it actually is and all that, I'm not saying I know, but I'm just saying this is based on what I know. This is the Golden Gate, the Milky Way galaxy. The Golden Gate is basically a crux of these two. A crossing of these two is right here. So as you can kind of picture it, see this bow. Again, this is just a representation of the bow of Sagittarius. But look at this bow right here. It's right out from this bow. And then it's kind of like where the middle of the bow is roughly, and the tip of this star is with Ophiuchus. It's right in here. So it's this circle right in here is the Golden Gate. Okay, and that's what a lot of scholars that know these kind of things, based on the Bible and things, and the references of the Golden Gate in Jerusalem, and then, of course, copied by the enemy by the Golden Gate Bridge, and other things. So it's known by God and known by the enemy as the portal in which Jesus will come through for not only his return, but also his second coming with his army and everything when he finally comes on his second coming. But his return, he's coming for his bride, his 144 and the rest of his bride during that time. So that's the Golden Gate. So this is actually showing right here. There's no coincidence that Saturn and Jupiter are pointing to the opening, and that's what I'm showing here. Now, I haven't talked a lot about the stars and everything, because the problem with all all these different formations and everything, is they tell the future. They don't tell the moment it's happening necessarily. And I haven't been shown that at all. They're a sign. It's like a signpost. It's like you're driving on a highway, you see a sign, and then it's telling you, okay, you got 5 miles until your exit, or whatever. Now, we don't know how many miles till the exit. We don't know how many years. We don't know how many. But the best thing to do is just guess, and it gives you an idea, because the Bible said there will be signs in the heavens, in the sun, moon, and stars. And so you can use those to get an idea of where in the time frame. So that's what I'm showing, and that's what I believe the Lord's been showing me, and showing you that we're getting massively close, and you be the judge, like I said, and we'll see what happens. Ultimately, that's the key. We'll see what actually happens. So here here we go. So just kind of reiterate for some people who don't know, because I'm trying to, in these 3 parts, appeal to people who've been around and know my channel and give them extra information, but also the people who are brand new or pretty new, that they understand what's going on, so I can kind of tailor it to everybody. So on 9/23/2017, we had the Revelation 12 sign, which is the moon, the Virgin clothed in the sun, the moon under her feet, and then 12 stars above her head. So we have 1, 2, 3 wandering stars. That's what a planet is. A planet means wandering star. And then we have 9 other stars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 up here for Leo, or the Lion of Judah, which it really is. All these constellations around, originally created by God, and they're called God's Mazzaroth. And then the enemies completely counterfeited it and put graffiti over it and calls it astronomy and astrology and all kinds of stuff, and use it to divine the future and all kinds of stuff. That's not what I'm doing. I'm showing how God used, even in the Bible talks about, some of these different constellations and things, and how he uses it for his different Mohadim, his different times, and the sun, moon, and stars, even in Genesis and things. So if you know about that. So anyway, what I found was, not only this is a Revelation 12 sign from the book of Revelation chapter 12 that talks about this whole thing, and what I just said, the moon, the Virgin clothed in the sun, moon under her feet, 12 stars above her head, and then the child's about to be born. Okay, but what I found is, with this alignment, there's also, which nobody mentioned, and I found this, Saturn down here. Saturn's also part of this alignment. Why? Because if we go back here, this alignment right here matches the Golden Gate. I mean, the Golden Gate alignment, I'm calling it, the Golden Gate alignment matches this alignment of the Revelation 12 sign. Boom. Perfect alignment right here. So the moon's all over to the left and everything, but the sun is even in the alignment of Venus, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, the same exact planets, all the same exact planets, not necessarily the same in order, of course. That would almost be impossible. I mean, yeah, it's the same planets and the sun. So they have a direct relationship. So it's the same planets and the sun as the Golden Gate alignment. And now what's more important than that is something else. And I've shared this before, okay, is that there was also something on the ground that happened at the same time. And as I was looking at this alignment and I wanted some confirmations, somebody else found this on satellite, and that they were using dew weapons to burn California. And so people have had different theories about what's really going on in California with these burns and everything. Now, this is showing you that it's absolutely, without a doubt, man-made, because you have a perfect line right here of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down here. 6 fires, and the arrows are pointing to them. This is something Daniel found on Logic Before Authority, and basically shared it. And then I couldn't believe it. I was actually watching at the time. I was looking into all this. I had seen this, and I was looking for confirmations. And then he talked about this, and I'm like, oh my god. And I don't even think he doesn't pay attention to anything, any of the comments, as far as I know. And he hasn't treated me the best. So I tried to contact him, and he didn't get back to me and let him know this, that I didn't even know if he knew that this related to this, but hopefully he knows. But anyway, whatever. So now, what's crazy about this is this completely relates down on the ground to what's up what was up in the sky on that exact day. This was going on the ground at that day, and this is going on above, in a sense, above the Golden Gate Bridge. So let's keep going here. Now, if you turn this upside down, so you can see in a different angle, you have this on the ground, and then what's this? This is San Francisco Bay right here, and that is the Golden Gate Bridge, just as a reference, okay? And so if you see these stars in a line, these are the stars. This is crazy. So this is the stars, and this bigger one represents the sun, as you can see, and I'm going to show you that in a second. So we have this is parallel to the Golden Gate at the same time that this was parallel to the Golden Gate Bridge above. And now let me show you how that looks. Okay, boom. Now look at these. Look how close these stars are to these burns, these fires, I should say. They're burned in the ground. Whatever these burns. I mean, they're burned. Look how close. Boom. I mean, that is precision. With something in the air, or something is actually probably in space. For people that don't believe in space, whatever. I'm just saying, wherever it is, I think it's in space, but who knows? I'm not saying I know. Wherever it is, it's exactly lined up. And then the sun's probably not lined up, because it just depends on where your perspective is, maybe. Because the sun can be in a different perspective wherever you're at. If you're in a different part of the globe, the sun's down. Another part is, hours later, the sun's in a different spot. So I think the stars are more fixed because the sun's closer. Something like that. I believe that's what the case is. But anyway, this lines up perfectly. You've definitely got these four dots and then the sun and then this other one here. So this lines up. So this is telling me, there's another thing that's telling me that this is completely designed by God, and then the enemy's mimicking it by stars. So that means that it's about their birth as well. And they know what this is. I knew what this was about a birth because this alignment was, I'm going to show it, for example, it's kind of like that if it was on the ground there. But this alignment is directly related to the Revelation 12 sign I just showed you because it's 777 days later, which is phenomenal. I mean, and that's God's number. In fact, God's name in Hebrew looks like a 777. It's crazy. So, and then plus, like I said, from one day, a notorious day of 923 that's in, I had a dream about 923, America's Laid Low. 923 code is in hundreds and hundreds of movies, TV shows, commercials and all kinds of stuff. And I knew that for a long time, and I think I finally know what it means. And I'm going to talk about that more in this video. And then, of course, November 9th is 9/11 backwards. So, and then, of course, 2009 is my 219 code or 912 code backwards, as I talk about the carriers and about the elimination of the two presidents. Okay, so this is crazy. So what have I found here? This is very phenomenal in my mind. So hopefully you see this, what I'm saying here. So 777 days, 777 days is 111 weeks, which is pretty crazy. And then we're going to go backwards. Now, what happened before that was before the sign actually happened, we had Virgo, inside Virgo, we had, of course, Jupiter go inside Virgo and then go back and forth a few times, retrograde motion inside Virgo, which made it amazing because that's never happened before, not in thousands of years. Actually, not that we can even see as far as we can see, but I'm just giving examples. Definitely not in 7,000 years going back that has ever happened where Jupiter is retrograde motion inside Virgo and hasn't bounced out until 293 days later, where it came out in between the legs. And again, with the star, when the closing the sun, moon under feet, and all the representation of the Revelation 12 sign, it nails it for what Revelation 12 is saying. So it is it, and I've shown many ways that it's it. And but anyway, so we're looking back even before that to some date, and I'm not going to tell you what it is just yet. Now, if we go forward, it's easy to go forward because I found a bunch of things in this timeline, and one of those things is October 17th. That's the elimination of Trump, and I'm saying either the day before or that day will be the complete attack on the carriers, the United States ships, or the CVN aircraft carriers. Okay, so the difference between 11/9 and this time is 343 days, which is amazing because it's not only 49 weeks, which is 7 times 7, but because it's weeks, it's 7 times 7 times 7 days. 7 times 7 times 7 days. And I've been looking for something with sevens because of this, and this matches perfectly. It's really crazy. Hopefully you see that this is nuts, and then this actually matches all these codes from this time all the way to here, to this, which is 7/11 backwards. And then we also, of course 7/11 is, in a sense, 7 times 11 is 77. And then we have 777. Okay, does that make sense? It's really crazy. So if we go back that many days, which is 343 days, 49 weeks, or 7 times 7 times 7 days, we get to a date. I'm not going to say what it is just yet because I got to make a few more points about something. Keep you in suspense a little bit. But this is phenomenal how this works out. Here we go. Now, of course, we're going back to 2016 and forward on the end of my timeline. We're in 2020, October 17, 2020, and that's the attack I'm talking about. And I'm saying this is a really interesting time that's been forecasted here. If anything, it's showing that we're super close, but I do believe that this is probably telling the time we're in right now, and it's about happening here. So we'll see. I said we'll see here. Now check this out. This timeline right here, from back here, there to here, is crazy. It's actually 1,463 days. In Strong's Hebrew, 1463 is Gog. And what I've said before is this timeline represents a birth. And of course, in that aspect is the birth of the Antichrist. We also have the birth of the man child as well. But in this situation, it's very obvious, and a lot of people don't know. But I've done a lot of research, and the Antichrist is also Gog. Okay, you had the Gog and Magog war, and Gog will be destroyed by Jesus, and that's the Antichrist, and that is Stinky B.O., the 44th Prez. Barack Insane Obama. He is Gog, okay? And what I've seen in my studies and what this points to right here is really quite amazing. Exactly 1463 as far as days. Okay, this gets even more incredible. Let's keep going. Now, if you were to break up the timeline and say, okay, so we have 3 sets of time. We have 343 days, we have 777 days, and again, 343 days, because this is like a mirror. And this is how God does this stuff. It's really amazing. And I've showed how in God's perfect sign and past videos, how he has a perfect balance from the last 4 major blood moons called the tetrad blood moons. In the very middle of those, there was a balance point of January 5th, 2015, and then the blood moons on before that and the blood moons after that are completely balanced. And the last one and the first one are 266 days on either side, and that's the exact amount of days on either side for a twin pregnancy is 266 days or 38 weeks is the gestation period for a twin. So you have 2 on either side, one on either side. So you have 2 twins. And then there was all these, these eclipses and, all this different stuff that was balanced on either side. Anyway, I did a video on that, going back, watch that. That's, what's it called now? I found the gold and silver keys is what it's called. Okay, and it talks about this other form of the timeline I'm talking about, but this is more perfected now because of what the Lord. Now, is this completely it? I don't know. Hopefully it is, but there may be more to this. This is definitely 100% correct. The 777 here, okay? Right. Let me go back here. The 777 is absolutely correct. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about here. So in this situation, you have the 343 days, and then let's say this overlaps. So this last day of the 343 days, or the 343rd day, overlaps with the first day of the 1120 days. And that they do this all the time. So I'm going to give you an example. That would be 462 days because these both share one day. Does that make sense? Hopefully it makes sense. So we don't have the full amount of days. We have this amount of days and then these two together. But these two together and this one share the same day right here. So less one day, which is 1462 versus 1463. Well, what does that mean? 1462 in Strong's is locusts. Okay, so at the same time we're talking about Gog being born in a sense, we're talking about locusts and the pit opening up and locusts coming out. And it's called Gob. So we got Gog and Gob. It's crazy. I mean, anyway, now let me show you another concept here. So this 1120 days is very interesting because backwards, we just so happen to have the 211th day of the year was July 29th. And that just so happens from the Revelation 12 sign to 1120 days is 7/11, and July 29th was 7/11. That's not chance. That's design. And the reason why is because God has his days, as you can see these days, and then the enemy, as far as the dates that you see in green or whatever dates you see on the calendar, that's man's calendar, the enemy has used these dates to his own benefit and covered up, kind of like spray painted over God's numbers and made it his own. So he can look like he's God, and he did all this. Okay, so that's what's going on here. Now I'm going to show you the next thing. This is crazy. So then we take, if we take all 3 timelines, so this timeline, this timeline, this timeline, put them all together, but then they share, like this timeline, the last day shares this timeline's first day, and this timeline's last day shares with this timeline's first day. So we have 2 days were less. Then that knocks us down to, if we add this to this, I'm sorry, if this, I know it's hard for me even to explain. So we have this full timeline, and then we have these two sharing the same day. Let's do it that way first. If we have these 2 timelines sharing the same day, the first and last day, it goes to from 1120 to 1119 code. And that is crazy. I'm telling you, this is what they do. I've seen many examples of this where they overlap the first and last day because they're saying multiple things. And this is showing that God is doing this. Okay, because You can't change the amount of days. And this is a real valid thing. This is a really valid thing. And there's 777 days. There's the fires to prove it. I mean, all these different things that, basically give credibility to these markers here. Okay, so, and then look at it. I mean, we've got the 1119 code that I've shared in my first two videos. And it's the attack on Trumpel Day. It's the attack on the Carriers Day. It's a secret code. It's when, Trumpel was elected, when he, 11-9 back, or I should say, Blind 11 happened and everything. So it's crazy. So then that makes it, if we do it this way, if this timeline and this timeline share the same day as this one, again, we're 2 days less than that 1463 for all of these together. So if we take 343 plus 777 plus 343, we had 1463. Now, if this timeline, and this timeline all share this day and this day, then we have 2 days less. So that's 1461. And this is incredible. So if we go 1461 in Greek, it's the word, I know I give it a try. Enkentridzo. It means I graft in or engraft. And this is crazy because the Bible actually says that when we, as believers or as sons of God, we are adopted by God because Jesus is the only begotten Son, and we are by adoption engrafted into His, to being in Christ, where He is the head. We're literally engrafted in, and so this is the moment in which He would take pride in and glory in us, where we be engrafted in the body of Christ as Jesus as the head in heaven, which is crazy. So that lines up perfectly. And even more than that, this 1461 number, guess what it is in Hebrew? The fact that these would match at all is amazing. It just proves that God's behind the Strong's, and these numbers are definitely God inspired. So in Strong's Hebrew, the word is husbandman. Husbandman means to prick or puncture or to graft, by making a puncture or to graft a living shoot into another living plant. So this is the action of to engraft in. I covered that up a little bit. To engraft in, and this is the actual husbandman who does the grafting. And these are completely two different Strong's languages. One's Hebrew, one's Greek, and they have the exact same number, meaning they're pretty much the same thing. One is the grafter and one is to graft. That is totally God. That's completely, and so that shows you God's focusing on something about this time frame. Well, what is 1461 days? What is the beginning day that I haven't showed you yet? I'm about to show you. Before I do that, you see right here, which is this day right here, which is 1199 or 1119 code or 1119 code. If you notice, I showed right here that 119, or as November 9th, 2019, is the 1119 code, because that's 1119. And remember I've said a slash is a 1 or a slash. So that is the 1119 code. You can keep going. 2019 is the 1119 code, because the first 1 and 1 can be added together, and that's 2 and 19. So literally this whole date of November 9th, 2019 is 1119 and 1119. Okay, that's not by coincidence. This is all planned as well. First by God, and then tried to rip off by the enemy. Okay, this is crazy. Okay, let's keep going. These are the dates I'm talking about. Look at this. Down at the bottom here, underneath this cursor here, is 10/16/2016 and 10/16/2020. Literally, these three timelines, when they share this day and this day, this last one shares this first, or I should say, again, it's hard to explain this. So the last day of these 440 days shares the first day of this 777, and the last day of this 777 shares the first day of this 343. So you're 2 days less than the total, and that's 1461, or it ends up being from October 16th or 116 to 116, October 16th again. And that's 2016, a leap year, to 2019, a leap year. And that's not by chance. Okay, there's even far more than this. This is incredible. This is really incredible discovery. Lord has just blown my mind, and hopefully your mind's blown right now. It's not super easy. It's hopefully I'm explaining it. It's not the easiest thing to explain either. So also, if you look at this, we also have, remember the 1119 code. If you just take the 9 and turn it upside down, it's 1116. So this is a 116 code, and it matches the 1016 because the slash is a 1. So you have 1116, and then over here, this date is 1116 as well. It's just phenomenal. So ultimately, these numbers are very important. And 1116 is also 1, 1, and 1 plus 6 is 7. So you have the 711 code. It's crazy. But ultimately, and we're talking about the birth of the Antichrist as well as the man-child at the same time. And that's represented by the 16th day, the 7th day of this timeline I'm talking about, which ends up being this timeline of the 16th. It's crazy. Okay, you got to watch the first couple parts to understand more of what I'm saying. But this is a kind of different animal here too. So, and then check this out. Barack Hussein Obama in reverse full reduction is 116. So we're looking at 116 is here, 116 is over here, and even 1116. And just like, remember, Trumpel is 119 for 9/11, and even November 9th and here we have November 9th right here. There's November 9th, and he was voted president November 9th, 2016. And that was really close to this time right here. So this is a phenomenal timeline. And I'm going to show you why is this a big deal and why is this a big deal besides what I've already shared. It's being the 17th on this kind of thing and then being the 16th when you overlap these days to the 16th. First of all, hopefully you understand that's crazy and impossible that you go the exact day 4 years earlier or the exact day 4 years later and being the stinky BO day that I'm talking about, being the 7th day. Okay, but what's really amazing now? Let me show you what's really amazing and why the October 16th of 2016 is such a big deal. Okay, boom. Look at this. October 16, 2016. Literally, the sun is in Virgo, just like in the Revelation 12 sign, and on the 17th, it crosses the plane of from the woman's body to out of the body and between the legs, just like the Revelation 12 sign. I should say the 14 days before the Revelation 12 sign being the birth, and then 14 days later was the Revelation 12 sign. So if you take 9/23/2017, which was the Revelation 12 sign and that alignment, you go 14 days earlier, and I've shared this many times in my videos, it's 9/9/2017 is when Jupiter is right here and it crossed the plane on 9/9. So this is happening again. Look, 2016, 2017, 2016, 2017, 2016, 2017. Now, and this is what's so crazy about this. Okay, this is like this almost every year, and I went back over 100 years. Sometimes it's off by a day or a day either way. It's on the other side, a day earlier, a day after. But most years, for 100 years, I look back, a little more than 100 years, it's exactly on this, pretty much in this spot on the 16th in the woman to being on this spot in the 17th out of the woman. And there's never a time when the sun is not in the woman or right by the woman or in this spot, basically. Moves around a little bit, but pretty much it's inside the woman, and it's usually off by, sometimes, most time it's not off by a day, but sometimes it's off by a day either before or after, which is crazy. So what that tells me is that the 16th or 17th mean birth. They mean birth. And the reason why they're attached even at all, and why Obama would be attached to Trumpel as far as 2 consecutive days, are because Obama's on this day, okay, and he's going to be born in that day, and then Trumpel is the next day. And it's crazy. This is crazy. So let's go up to 2017. But first, let's talk about this. So like I said, when Jupiter went into Virgo on November 20th, 2016, right here, just entered the body, went back and forth here, retrograde motion a few times, okay, and then exited out September 9th, 2017, right there. See where that star is down there? I can't even point to it. It's down here. It's underneath this cursor down here. You can see it with red around it here, right there. Okay, just like this. Just like this. Just like it was in right there and then it came out. Boom. I didn't show it right on the line, but you get the idea. So it's right there. It's same spot. It's nuts. So that was 293 days that Jupiter was in Virgo, or it was 9 prophetic months, And then these are described in the book of Revelation, of course, because it's the Revelation 12 sign, of course. And there's like 8 different places, 8 different scriptures in the Revelation where it talks about what prophetic months and what prophetic years are. So prophetic year is 12 30-day periods, or a prophetic month is one 30-day period. So a prophetic month, so for example, there's 293 days right here that Jupiter was inside Virgo. 293 days equates to 9 30-day periods, or 9 prophetic months, and 23 days. There's your 923 in one way. This is crazy. Okay, so let's look at this. So let me go right over here. Let's go right here. That's fine. So right after Revelation 12 sign happened in 2017, so Jupiter was over here, went like this, bang, went out, and then now it ends up here on October 16th. Now look, watch the sun's over here again. October 16th, a year later after 2017. Again, I told you most years for over 100 years, it just does the same thing back and forth. So boom, let me go this way. So boom, see 17th, and this is the next year, 2017, after Revelation 12 sign. Boom, see 16, 17, 16, 17. In the womb, birth. In the womb, birth. Birth on the 16th. Birth of the Antichrist. Birth of the man-child. Birth. See that? Okay, 16, 17, 16, 17, 16, 17. Well, you get the point. I just want to make this complete point. Okay, this is crazy. So now, let me show you the exact, again, go back to the 2016, okay, and show you that exactly on the line of where the body ends, on the bottom of the woman, basically, on the line, it just happened to be right at noon. Okay, the reason why I'm showing that, because I'm going to show you something that happens. Again, I'm showing you what's the significance of this October 16th of 2016 versus exactly 4 years later, these 3 timelines kind of overlapping on 2 days. And what's the difference between the one that happened, or what's their relationship, and what's such a big deal about, October 16, 2016 and October 16, 2020? Okay, because they're both births, and so this is what it's showing. We got October 16, 2016. It's at noon right here. See, noon right here, 12 o'clock exactly. And boom, October 16th, 2020 at noon is the same. Boom, 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 boom. What's the difference? The moon. See the moon coming in? Boom, boom. Mercury and Jupiter over here. Again, this is before the Revelation 12, or before Jupiter went into the body and then bounced around in here. So why is this important? Because right here it's saying this year is really important, because Revelation 12 sign was going to happen down the road, but it was right before Jupiter was going to go into the body and bounce around. So this is another type of birth that basically happens every year at those 2 exact days, pretty much. 16, 17, 16, 17. And so in this case situation, we have, let me go here. Boom. So now we have 2020. Well, what's different about this? So we have this birth right on the line. Basically the baby's head's poking out. You see the sun is inside and out. So the baby's inside and out right here, right at noon. Okay, now let's go to 2020. What's different? Because right here, you can't really see it, but the moon is right here, and it's right on the line. In fact, there's an absence right there, right on the line. There's a little gap, and I'm going to show you here by this. See, this is blown up right here. Literally, the moon right here on the 16th is perfectly dark. It's what people call a new moon or whatever. I think it's misnamed, but it should be called the black moon or just the absent moon or something. But it's solid black. The sun's not shining on it. Okay, so, and it happens to be right at 12, just as the sun is exactly on the line of the bottom of Virgo's body. The moon is exactly on that line at 12 noon as well, which is pretty crazy. And what's also amazing is the sun represents Jesus, or like royalties necessarily. It represents Jesus being the Son of God, Son and the Son. It also represents the sun god, or the birthing of the sun god as well. So the enemy's version of it. But also the moon represents the bride of Christ. We reflect the Son of God, and the moon reflects the sun's light, in a sense, okay? So this is really crazy. So it's showing birth. So we have 2016, 2020, 2016, 2020. Looks exactly the same. Literally, the sun does not move. Look at this. They're 2 completely different shots, and the sun does not move. They're in the exact spot on these 4 years apart on the exact day. I mean, I don't know of a situation like that. In the exact spot, it did not move once. It looked like it was just tied there. See, look, boom. The sun is just tied there. And I assure you, these are 2 different shots, because you can see the movement of the planets and everything. and the moon's going right to this line. It's crazy. Hopefully you see this. This is phenomenal. And of course the moon right here, like I said, it's right on the line. So this is showing a birth, obviously, is what I'm saying. Hopefully you get what I'm saying. It's really bizarre. Okay, let's keep going here. So that's showing a birth again from October 16th, 2016 to October 16th, 2020 is the exact same scene, except this time we have the moon involved. So that's showing even more significance that a birth is about to happen. And that's what I'm showing. That's what it's showing. Okay, and so what I'm saying as well, and I've shared this on my previous video, 9:23, 12:01. Now you see that, remember that you saw that noon, which is 12, okay? And it ends up matching. Now there's a little bit of give there because when you're looking up in the sky, I mean, you can still kind of sort of be on the line for, several minutes or even an hour maybe or whatever. It's touching that line for a while. And it's also about perspective and everything too, but whatever. So my point is it's showing 12:01 on this barrel, 9:23, which is a birth number, and I've shown how 9:23 is 9 prophetic months and 23 days. It's also 9 months into the year, which September would be September's completed, and then 23 more days would be 23 days into October, which would be October 23rd, and that's why I'm saying is the last day of these 14 days. So we have perfectly 9 months and 23 days ends up being the 11th and 12th day with the tsunamis, and then 9 months and 23 days into the year in the Gregorian is the 13th and the 14th day, which is crazy. And I got a barrel about this, and I talked about this in my last video, so you got to watch that. Okay, and so to reiterate, from January 1st, 2020 to October 20th, my 11th day, okay, which is a tsunami day going in from the 20th to the 21st, is 293 days. Again, that's how long Jupiter was in Virgo, which means 9 prophetic months and 23 days. That's one of the 923s. Okay, so it just so happens to be on that day. So remember, it's the 20th. Remember, well, 20th if it's the 20th in Hawaii, which is where the Antichrist is come from, that's where the attack's going to begin in a sense. As far as the time zone goes, then it's 6 hours later, and I told you it'd be a little bit after 9. I'm going to show you how it's a little bit after 9 and how I found it in iPad Goat. It's a little bit after 9 in Hawaii at night, and then 6 hours later is the next day, the 21st, right here. So I'm giving an example. If this is talking about 9:23 being the 11th day, or if that barrel's talking about that, because I know it came from God, and I'm trying to show you what I mean. You can believe it or not, it doesn't matter. But I'm going to show you why this would be. So this is 12:01. So it's into the next day, but it's still, so I'm saying this is my time possibly. I don't know for sure, but I'm saying it's possibly my time. I am mountain time. And so I'm saying if it's 10:21 my time, 1 minute after midnight, then back in Hawaii time, it's still just a little bit after 9, or a little bit after, I guess it would be a little bit after 10. No, hold on. Anyway, I can't think of what it is. But right here at this time, and it would still be the 20th in Hawaii, and there's the 21st here where I'm at. And then of course a couple hours later so it's about an hour before these events would happen. That's what it is. Okay, it doesn't matter where you are as far as time zone. Then right here, remember I said this is the Golden Gate? So the end of the kind of the middle of the bow, and then kind of the end of the star in Ophiuchus. It's right in here. This is the Golden Gate. So the moon just happens to be in the Golden Gate right at this time when I'm saying it's possible the Golden Gate could open. The moon represents the bride who's, reflects the sun. Hopefully you get this. And look at the crescent moon shape that's exactly at this day on the 20th. And again, that's 20th in Hawaii. And so where I'm at, it'd be the 21st at 12:01, for example. And this would be still about an hour before the event happens based on my time. If I'm right, if this is what the Lord's showing me, and whatever it is, we'll find out. But I think he's showing me that we'll be taken out of harm's way. The children, the innocent children, and the 144 would be taken out of harm's way before these tsunamis happen, even up to an hour before it happens. And that would match 100%. It's just crazy. So look at this. Now, if I distort this, well, let me go to this next scene. Okay, so this is scene in iPad Goat where the character Osama, the caricature Osama bin Laden is raising his hands up, and he is he's the angel of the bottomless pit, which also represents the Satan or the Antichrist Obama. Okay, the angel of the bottomless pit, which is also Abaddon, which is number 3 in the Greek Hebrew concordance is 3, or it's 623 as Apollyon in the Greek concordance 623. And I'm gonna tell you what 623 is really soon here. It's all over an iPad Goat because it's attached to Stinky BO like crazy. 623. It's also his date of his birth because 623 is 923. And again, I had a dream, another dream I had. It was about a year ago now, where I was basically just I was sitting down actually, and Jesus. No, I wasn't sitting down. I don't think the other one I was sitting down. This one I was kind of standing up, and Jesus kind of at my peripheral. I didn't quite see him, but I could see a figure walk up to my ear and go 923 623. And so I was like, oh man. So I was all in 923, and I was looking at movies and TV shows and all kind of stuff. And then I realized when he told me that was what I was going to look for in iPad Go and get an idea of that. And then I realized at some point for sure that Stinky BO, one of his big numbers is 623 because it's really showing the 923 code because 6 is upside down 9. And so a lot of things I would see in iPad Go that says 623, it's really secretly showing even more. It's 923. And then eventually I understood what 923 is. And now I really understand it's 2 different attack days possibly. So this is crazy. 2 major attack days, the tsunami days and the nuclear attack, which are a couple days apart. That's it. So right here, this is Osama bin Laden character. And he's got black wings. So he's the angel of the bottomless pit. And then also it shows here that he's a member of the CIA. Okay, he's a CIA asset in a sense. And he was definitely worked for the CIA. I don't know, it's a lot of evidence shows. Okay, so anyway, let's go to this thing. So what I'm saying this is depicting, one of the things this is depicting, this crescent moon, is this crescent moon on the 20th. Now, of course, it's not as distorted, so if I distort it a little bit more, I can just tweak it a little bit, make it a little more distorted so you can see how it matches that. Okay, if I could also distort it a little bit more, make the ends, but I just didn't bother doing that. Take more time, distort it. And I don't have a great application to do this. It takes a while to distort it, to move little pieces around and kind of distort it. And then, but it would also, if I distort these ends out more like this, it would make this a little bit skinnier, so it would even match it even more. But you get an idea how this matches. It would literally matches completely. If I were to pull these ends out, it's going to make this a little bit thinner and matches completely perfectly. So that makes sense. It's really crazy. Okay, he's also, like I said, this is the angel of the bottomless pit. So he's about to open up the bottomless pit. And what is this right here? What is this? Besides this being a depiction of the moon, this also represents an eclipse. Not necessarily an eclipse, but it's symbolism of an eclipse. I'm going to show you. This is also a head of a locust. This is the eye, this is a mandible, and that's a mandible. So there's an example right there. This is a locust head. And I found a good locust head that kind of, I had to get a drawing because it was kind of hard to find one that shows a different kind of profile like this. Not completely just one side. There's eyes over here. This kind of looks similar, where you can see the side of the head, but you also see a mandible here and mandible here. You got mandibles down here. I can't point to it with this thing. It's a stupid thing. Okay, but you see, this is opening a pit, and then we also have, this is a scorpion tail right here, as you can see. This is kind of segmented right here. This is a scorpion tail, because the locusts that come out are going to be able to sting like scorpions, the Bible says. Okay, it's crazy. So we have a scorpion tail right here. Another thing we have, which is crazy I found, is we have a female right here. You see the head, the body right here. There's a female head, kind of. Again, it's very faint. It's very basic, super basic, but it's here. And she's almost like hooded. She's hooded right here. Like she's like Mary. She looks like Mary or something right here. Hope you can see that. And she's having a baby. And this baby's right here. It's a floating white, or baby in maybe swaddling clothes. I don't know. It's crazy. So the baby's being swaddled. It's wrapped up like this, and its head's right here, and it's floating up. And then right here, there's a dark baby right here coming down. And it's hard. I'm telling you, it's right here. There's a dark baby coming down, and there's a floating baby going up. Again, that's the twin birth, the dark and the light, the yin and the yang. It's crazy. I'm more proof to show you that. And then check this out. There he is, the goddess of the dawn. In fact, one of his first names that we know of was Barry Sabarka. And it had to do with his father, who was Sabarka. And he was the head, he was a general in, I think, Philippines Army. I can't remember. But he was a really bad dude. The CIA would hire him to do hits on people, and his military to do hits on people. And then he was like the stand-in father for him while he was growing up and everything. And then George H.W. Bush was his mentor and his handler basically for the CIA. And that's established by Judge Joe Brown, believe it or not. And I have a video going back a little ways. Go back and you can watch Judge Joe Brown talk about their relationship when he was a kid. George H.W. Bush gave him candy, and that's why George Bush Jr. would play with Michelle or Michael Obama and give him or her candy, because it's a play on when George H.W. Bush would give little Barack Hussein Obama candy, the little clone boy, effeminate boy right here. And his last name, the name that we know he had the first necessarily, which is Barack. Barack, oh my goodness, Barry Sabarka. Sabarka backwards is Hakrob Eos. Hakrob is Scorpion and Eos is Goddess of the Dawn. So it's Scorpion, Goddess of the Dawn. And guess what? When the angel of the bottomless pit, which is him, when the Satan comes down, be the angel of the bottomless pit that will open up the pit, there's a scorpion tail, and you have Goddess of the Dawn. Scorpion, Goddess of the Dawn is what his last name means exactly backwards. Just like I showed in the last video, where his two daughters, so-called, their name is an anagram backwards, which says, Allah, I am Satan. I mean, that's another massive coincidence for you coincidence people? No, I don't think so. Okay, this is crazy. Okay, so hopefully you can follow this. This is phenomenal stuff. Okay, and then here's another scene in iPad Goat where the flag is ripped in half, okay? And then with the part that rips off, there's one star here. In fact, this is the 50th star representing the 50th state. What's that? On August 21st, 1959, Hawaii was submitted to the Union as our 50th state. Again, more evidence Hawaii will be destroyed because it's the star that's ripped off with the half of the flag and the rest is on the other flag. So in one moment when Hawaii gets destroyed by a massive tsunami because it's basically a big huge chunk of the bottom of the Big Island is going to fall off on purpose. This is all pre-planned. And so this is all going to happen at this crescent moon shape. See that crescent moon? See noon again, or 12, whatever that ends up being, either noon or 12 midnight. See the 12 on the clock right here? Both hands are pointing up. And it's funny that I was showing you a celestial thing that basically had a moon, and then it was 12, here's 12 as well, midnight or noon, who knows. And there's a crescent-shaped moon right here. So if we take this moon and we just move it like that, because that's what they do, they put things upside down, backwards, and whatever, or both, upside down, backwards, or both. And look at that, matches that on the 20th. And that's what I said. That's Hawaii gets ripped off the flag. There's one star on there, and that would support the tsunami day, because Hawaii gets destroyed on the tsunami day. And that's what happens on the West Coast. The East Coast is a massive tsunami that hits the East Coast as well. On the same, technically the 21st. But you see how this matches the 20th, the Hawaii day, and it matches the Hawaii day at noon or even midnight. And it's a little after midnight, actually, when it would be Pacific time. So this is somehow showing Pacific time, and to be a little bit after 9 p.m. Hawaii time. Okay, but anyway, it's matching the same day, I'm saying. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? So we're having several these moon phases matching my whole timeline. I'm going to show you more about that here in a minute. So here's evidence that remember that Osama character that raised his hands? The first scene is you see this big iceberg shaped like a ship, and it's got a spear on it. See spear? In fact, the hurricane that I predicted would hit Hawaii, that did, again, people could say, false claims could be that none of my dates have happened. That's not true. Many of them have happened. Some not exactly the things I've said, but very similar things I've said, or very similar kind of events. Okay, but some events exactly happened. I said back when I started that Hurricane Lane would go across the Pacific and hit Hawaii, and it did. Okay, and I said that about 3 different hurricanes, and it happened. So people can say whatever they want or make false claims all they want. I know the history, and because you haven't looked at my videos and you just want to be a naysayer, say what you want. I predicted several things that have happened and several things that were very similar. And if you just have half a brain, you could see that I'm doing the best I can, and I'm using a very difficult thing to decipher as, my evidence and all these different codes trying to figure this out. And again, I say it's just a guess. It's just a possibility. The chance of me hitting all this all in a row and all the timeline is very difficult. Okay, and anybody's got to understand that. But people like to throw stones. You shouldn't throw stones at people when you live in a glass house. Just shouldn't. And everybody lives in glass houses anyway. So this spear is hitting. By the way, Lane, when it hit and had a massive amount of rain, over 60 plus inches of rain, and exactly 1 year earlier, almost to the exact days, was Hurricane Harvey that hit Texas, and they both had over 60 plus inches of rain, and that matches again. Hurricane Harvey is HH, and then before Lane was Hurricane Hector, which is HH, and that's 88, 88, and there's all codes and all that, and I've gone into some of that with my videos. But what is, and by the way, Hurricane Lane is, and I did some huge research on that. Lane in Gaelic means spear, and that is a spear. That's a spear hitting. What is this? This is, it's not just a little iceberg thing. This is the big island of Hawaii. And I'm going to show you that. Look, that's the big island of Hawaii, is it? Yes, boom. See how it's kind of like, more rounded and everything, or more, and then more clear cut, but it is Hawaii. That's Hawaii right there. That's the big island of Hawaii, and it's being speared by the angel of the bottomless pit, basically representing the Antichrist, Stinky BO, who sounds like Obama, Osama, Obama, Osama, Obama, Osama. I mean, that's not a coincidence. And you can draw your own conclusions without me even saying it, hopefully. But at least you can see that their names are very similar. They were both CIA assets. They look very similar, and that's as much as I'll say. Draw your own conclusions. But this is Hawaiian Island. This is the timing. So we have the Antichrist being represented by this somewhat red-haired gentleman right here. No, not gentleman, sick dude on a boat, and he's got fire on his beard. Remember, I talked about that. That's a Van Dyke beard, and we have another beard, and there's the fire on the beard, kind of connecting them as well. Both CIA and whatever. This says CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, and it's got a badge from CIA. And then again, we have this big, huge head of a locust, because he's the angel of the bottomless pit, putting his arms up and opening the pit on this time, which is when it would happen. I'm saying because Hawaii is the cap of the pit, okay? And CERN is going to cause a massive vortex to open up right there after they explode Hawaii and destroy it. The cap's going to be gone, and they're going to open up CERN right there, and then these locusts and Abaddon or Apollyon is going to come out, boom, and then right here, this thing right here is a baby. It's a dark baby in dark swaddling clothes. And then this is a light baby floating up. And you can see there's like a head, there's a body. It's got a little swaddling thing right here. These two are dark babies, and it's a twin birth. And I'm going to show you that. This is my twin boys. So I had to include this, and I've remembered. This is my twin boys. And again, I was talking about twins way before a twin birth of Antichrist and the man-child of the bride of Christ at the same time. Before we were even pregnant with twins, and we knew we were going to have twins months before, and then we got a 3D ultrasound as the first thing we got. We weren't going to pay for it, but the guy said, "Here's a couple 3D things." This is the first picture I got, and here it is. There's light and dark right here. Now, I'm not saying one of my babies is light and one's dark. I'm just saying that's how it showed up. And the Lord immediately said, yin and yang, yin and yang. And it was just a representation of the twin birth. And that's why I even have twins, because of the things I've been talking about. And it's a witness from God to everybody, to the world, through my channel, that this twin birth is going to happen. And it's going to be the birth of the Antichrist, Stinky B.O., and the faithful in Christ are going to be taken up into heaven at the same time. It's a twin birth. The Antichrist knows it, the enemy knows it, and the people who are in the know, being the faithful, know it. Okay, everybody else doesn't know it. Or doesn't believe it until it happens, and then you'll find out. And more evidence of that. So let's say you take these two figures, you move them around a little bit. This matches that, and they come together. See that? That's a yin, and that's a yang. Yin and yang. See that? This angle, that angle, boom, boom. See that? You see the angles here? Yin, yin and yang. Yin and yang. Dark baby, light baby. And what does yin and yang mean? Yin is negative, feminine, passive, intuitive, dark, night, cold, soft, slow, moon. So that also, see, this also showing figurative, or there could be some kind of weird eclipse that we don't even know about, but I think it's more figurative. It's showing, or symbolic, because of the yin and yang birth. It's showing this because yin is also moon energy, and then and then yang is positive, masculine, active, logical, light, day, hot, hard, fast, sun. And I'm not following this belief. I'm saying this is what they believe, and there is some truth in it. Just like anything the enemy, takes from God, any kind of religion or belief, there's some truth in it that he takes and he remanufactures, puts tons of lies. So when you swallow it down, it might taste sweet at first, but then it's bitter in the stomach and it's bad for your life. And it's not from the Word. It's not from the God. It's not from the real Father of Jesus Christ. It is evil. It is nasty. And even when you feed a rat poison, you're trying to get rid of some rats, you feed them poison, 99.99% of it is not harmful. The 0.001% or whatever is massively harmful. And so you have to have that 99.99% or 999% for it to eat it and think it's something good, and then eat it and get it all down, and then that 0.001 or 0.01% just kills it, but dead. Okay, that's how the enemy works. He puts enough truth to get people interested and bring them in all religions, all beliefs, everything from the New Age to whatever, yeah. I was trying to say Islam and whatever, different Christian religions that are completely wrong. A lot of things, and I'm not saying I got the corner on right at all. I'm talking about a relationship with Jesus Christ. That's what's right, what works for me, and what's really the truth, because he's the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but through him. Anyway, so boom, without even going with that. So boom. Okay, so now I'm going to get into, I don't have much longer here, get into the different phases of the moon this month and what makes this very unique for this timeline and more support for what I'm saying. So this is October moon phases. Boom, you have, of course, as a lot of people know, full moons. This is a blue moon month, so you have full moons on both two full moons in the same month. That's what I'm trying to say. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, 2 full moons in the same month. And what's exactly in the middle? Obama Day, which is a solid black moon, of course, because he's solid evil. Okay, solid black moon right in the middle. Okay, that's not a coincidence. You got 2 full moons. And so I'm talking about also what's unique about this. I'm talking about, as my second video, if you watch the end of that, you saw the crazy thing about the moon and the half moon. Now the half moon is really a full moon. You got to watch this. You got to watch it. If you haven't watched part 1 and part 2, but you got to watch part 2. This crazy thing about the moon. I had a lot of comments about that. People thought that was pretty crazy. And a lot of emails, more emails actually than comments about people like, what, that thing with the moon was amazing. You got to watch it. So right here, boom, see this? We literally have the half moon, which is, remember I said the yin and yang. We have yang and yin and yang on the first day, I'm saying, and on the last day, which is about, this is a birth. This is a birthday, I'm saying. This is a birthday. That's a birthday. These are a birthday, and this is a birthday. This and that. They're all separate birthdays in this 13/14 day birthing process. Okay, and I was really on the 13 for a long time, and I'm seeing it's 13 into 14 because that's a counterfeit of God's 14, because when the actual birth happened in Revelation 12 sign, which was represented by the apple dropping from Lily and the apple coming out of Virgo, that was a birth. And then 12 days later was a Revelation 12 sign. And then just like Lily drops the apple, just like the apple comes out, or Jupiter comes out of the Virgin, 14 days later, ultimately the Antichrist will be revealed, or the Revelation 12 sign, really the birth of the man-child into heaven. So, of course, the enemy rips off the Revelation 12 sign as well by calling the king planet, which God has a different name for, and I'm going to get into right now. But the enemy calls it Jupiter, the god Jupiter, which is not a godly god. It's a completely false god, Jupiter. Or also Osiris, it would be equivalent, or Nimrod would be equivalent to all these Babylonian mystery religions that enemies concocted over the years to kind of, obscure the truth and what God would have this be. So here we go. So that's crazy. See how these match? See how these 2 yin and yang half moon deals happen, and then that's the first day and the last day of my cycle I'm talking about? Wow. What are the chances of that? Boom, keep going. Now there's this scene with Obama, and after the flower blooms, right? The apple goes down, rolls, hits his foot, and all this stuff goes back and forth, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 day, 13th day, going into the 14th day. boom, and then it looks like people, and listen, the reason he looks like he's scared or whatever, because I think that he is going to die somehow. He's just going to die. And maybe personally, maybe he's looking forward to it because he wants to be incarnated by Satan, but maybe him as a person is going to be somewhat lost. I don't know. I don't know how that works exactly, but I can imagine. I think he knows he's going to die, so they may be cluing in on that they're just hinting to you that he's going to die. He may not be afraid of it, or he may be afraid of it. I don't know, but I think he might be afraid of it. That's my guess, to some degree. But he knows it has to be done. And he knows he wants to be this person that is what he's been called to be, and he can't wait to get out there and murder people and do what he does because he's that evil. And I don't know what the enemy's going to do exactly with that, but so this is just representing, hey, he's going to get killed. He's kind of afraid of being killed, and he knows this is time, and so he doesn't know what to expect. Maybe I'm just guessing. Okay, so this drop comes down on his head, and it's really semen. It's really gross. Okay, because over here there's a penis on the chalkboard, and it's spewing some stuff, and then people think it's sweat, and he's all nervous. He does look nervous and everything, and I say it's because either they're just signaling that he's going to die, and he's just kind of signaling he's nervous, and you don't realize he's going to die. But I think he might be a little bit nervous of that, or might get to that point, just like Jesus was. I mean, you don't think that Jesus was nervous? Jesus was going to die, and I'm sure that's very similar. I mean, I don't think you can, Jesus died. I mean, my goodness, and he didn't want that. He sweated blood. I mean, this is almost like his version of sweating blood, and he, is not too happy about it. I mean, Jesus said, if this possible, let this cup pass before my lips, but nevertheless, not my will, but thy will. So anyway, this is this, and in the shine of the thing, from the light is a V, and V is 22, and then when it comes down, I'm putting two scenes together because it starts here and then this thing goes down and this is right off. But I pause it right here and I put these two scenes together, and that's a hidden upside down J, and J is the 10th letter. So we have October 22nd, 22nd going to the 23rd, and of course it'll be 22nd because it's Hawaii. The 22nd is Hawaii time, and going into the 23rd would be more towards the East Coast / Jerusalem time, more towards that side. And he is the false Messiah. But it's funny how, by the way, when you go from Hawaii time to time in Israel, it's exactly 13 hours difference. And there's that 13. Rebellion and all that stuff. That's crazy. It's just crazy. So this is all planned. It's all very, very, very weird. Another thing about that. So how I said Obama is 623, and I also got from the Lord. He whispered in my ear. He said 923 is 623, because it's all over an iPad Go. And I'm gonna show you just a few things to prove that to you. So think of her as being the slash. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 figures on this side. 6. And then over here, you think there's 3, but there's 1, and then these two are attached. See that? It also means 3 over here as well on 12 figures, but there's reasons why these are attached. I'm not getting into that. But right now, that's 1, and then these are attached, so that makes 2. It's a hidden 2 right here, not 3, it's 2. Then 1, 2, 3 right here. So we have 6, 2, 3. Okay, another reason how 6, 2, 3. As you're pulling out, where Obama's getting all kind of freaked out by what's going on, so-called sweating, but it's really semen, it's really gross. Anyway, so, and he's like, looking like he's mean and stuff right here, and it pulls out, and then just the fact of him being in this pain is the 623 code. Why? Because if you go left to right, top to bottom, just like we would read, okay, left to right, top to bottom, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th pain, 6. And then you go to the next possible. No, he's here because it relates to here. So that's 1, 2. He's in the second pain when it comes to top to bottom. Okay, and that's 2. And then the next possibility is he's the third one over from the bottom, because you start here, you go across to, right to left, top to bottom. So 6, 2, and then 1, 2, 3. 6, 2, 3. I'm just saying that's what logic dictates. It's just a simple little IQ test, and boom, there you go. Bam. Okay, and then let me show you this. This is phenomenal here. Okay, a lot of people talked about in my videos about Psalm 23, and I've covered it a few times, but I can't cover it every single video. There's so many things to cover in this, it's kind of ridiculous. But Psalm 23, yes, there's a lot of, just the fact that scripture is very apropos for this video as well. It's very deep, but even more important than that, it has some hidden meaning. The fact that there's lightning right here coming down, and again, Barack Obama is lightning falling from heaven in Hebrew, and Jesus said, I see Satan as lightning falling from heaven, Barack Obama, in Luke 10:18. So that's a massive precedent for him being the lightning. Who else would be lightning? I mean, are you kidding me? Is Donald Trump the lightning? No. Barack Obama means lightning falling from heaven. Hello, McFly. Is this thing on? Okay, so let me show you. Let me prove this to you. This is Sticky BO and not Trumpleberry or Trumple. Okay, so look at this. It's Psalm. This is all. It looks like graffiti on a wall, but it's Psalm 23. Well, there's far more going on in this. I'm not gonna get into everything that's in here, but I will get into this main subject. So right here, this is secretly showing a clock hand up and down to the 3 in the morning on the East Coast. And I'm going to confirm that in another slide down here. But here, look, it's secretly showing that how it's a little bit, and I've said this many times, the clock hand's a little bit after 3 a.m. And you see how the clock hand's not exactly straight across. It's a little bit after, and then there's a 3 right here hidden. And even more than that, check this out. This will, for some people, blow you away. Oh, and another thing I want to mention right here. Okay, you see how this is, so it's just supposed to be a P, you got an S, and this is an A like this, right? It goes down like this, bloop, right? Okay, and then this is supposed to be an L, and this is an M, and then this M connects right here, and it goes down as a bolt of lightning. Even though an M doesn't go a sideways thing and then convert and then go down, there's obviously a 3 right here, but there's really obvious is a 2 and a 3. Okay, this is obvious, Psalm 23. Well, this is all makes sense. See this little piece right here? It's on the bottom of this, what I'm calling a 3, or this lightning right here. This little piece right here that's the same color. There's no reason for that to be there. Right above my cursor thing right there. It's not connected to the A. The A doesn't have a little thing. It's not connected to this. This is a bolt of lightning coming down. It's not connected to that. It's not connected to anything. The reason why this is here is because to complete, this is where this cuts off the A, and this completes a 6. Kind of semi-visually for the eye. This little thing completes through this 3 a 6. Right here, see that? That proves it. That's a 6, and that's a 2 and a 3. 6, 2, 3. Well, what does this say right here? I'm going to show you exactly what this says. This says Obama, and then that's where the lightning starts, and this last A is sideways to the M and becomes an A, but it also includes this 3 in a clock hands and being a 3, and at the bottom of 3, it's a lightning falling from heaven. Boom. Showing when Obama's going to be born. Obama, lightning falling from heaven on 6, 2, 3. That's exactly what it is. I absolutely guarantee you it's what this is showing. The Lord made it super clear to me. I'm proving it. Look at this. So let's go back here. So as I said, it's showing 2 hands right here and pointing to a 3, just a little bit after 3. And I can prove it in a few different ways, but I'm just going to show you another way here pretty soon because I don't want a big long video. I can show you another way as well. Actually, I'll tell you real quick. Behind the old lady that gets blown back in the to the wall that's inside the penis, behind her there's a spot on the wall and it has a little bit after 3 on the wall with the little lines that make a little after 3. That's another thing. Boom. And then boom, there it is. Obama. Again, let me show you again. It's O. By the way, he signs his last name. Oh, it is O with a line through it, and that is the Greek word, which a Greek letter. I can't remember Natal. Oh, wait, hold on. It means he's the golden mean, and he believes the golden mean because he is a clone and everything. And I've talked about that in videos. Anyway, he does sign. Look at his signature. He does an O with a line through it. That's also extended for being a Q because he's Q and all that. So Obama. Okay, O B A M, and then right here is an A. A. That A also begins the 3. There's lightning falling on 6, 2, 3, which is the reason why he's 6, 2, 3 because it's hiding 9, 2, 3. 9 months into the year and 23 days, or 9 prophetic months and 23 days, which is the 10th or the 11th and 12th days, or the 13th and 14th day being 9 months and 23 days of the year. That's crazy. Bam. Okay, and here's another example of that. Now it's also 923 is 623, and how it's a little bit after 3 in the morning in New York. Well, obviously we see here, this is the Statue of Liberty right here. That's New York. Now look down here. See this right here? This is an island, and squint your eyes a little bit. Just squint your eyes a little bit, and you'll see H and then a little I. And it's an island, and that's Hawaii. H-I. Squint your eyes a little bit. It helps. Lord told me that. Squint your eyes a little bit. It's H-I. Okay, and then right here, you see this dark area right here? This is the tsunami, and it's hitting Hawaii first. In a sense, it's the same. It's going to be the same moment, pretty much, but it's a sooner time zone technically, but it's the same moment. So see this whole tsunami wave, which is darkened right here. It's going to hit Hawaii first, technically, I guess, but it's really the same moment. and then go to New York. So it's Hawaii. And by the way, like I said, what connects Hawaii to New York? Why these two? Why not something else? Because Hawaii in reverse English gematria is 666, and New York in normal English gematria is 666. Also, New York in full reduction English gematria is 39, or the 1119 code, as I showed you earlier. That's the Trumpet code as well. Or 39, or the 1119 code in reversed full reduction, is Hawaii. Believe it or not. It's crazy. Okay, they're very much linked in so many ways. That's one of the ways in gematria that they're linked. Now look at this. Boom. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit more. Now you see right here. Now if you look up and down, it looks like, if it's a clock hand, it looks like that's pointed to 12. And this is that little bit. See that little tick right there? A little bit after 2 in the morning, but or 2 o'clock, whatever it might be. And because it's dark, you could say 2 in the morning, okay? But who knows what it's really trying to say. But I've pretty much discerned that it's in the morning because it is dark, and there's things like that. There's other things. But as this star of Molech, or this so-called Star of David, Star of Molech comes up, it orients this in a different ways. How? So you look at that. See the star right there? That's the real up and down. That's the real up and down on the clock. I just know it is. And then this is the real crossways, or the left and right, basically. So that makes this, that's 12. This is a little bit after 3, because that goes this direction. 3, a little bit after 3. Okay, in New York is a little bit after 3 in the morning because it's dark. Okay, that orients that. Then right up here, it's cut off right here, but let me show you what this says right here. This right here. And this has to do with the explosion on the Hawaiian Island. I'm going to show you why very soon. Right here, if you blow this up right here, this is, and again, this is going the same orientation because this little iceberg next to it is flat this direction. Both the top and the bottom are going exactly this direction. See how this is going this direction? And it's just it's brilliant deduction here, and from the Lord kind of guiding me this way, but showing me also. And this is in the shape of a backwards 9 right here. Okay, this also looks like a clock hand because it's got a little absence in the middle, because there'll be a little thing in the middle. And then this is a hand, and you see that tick and that tick right there? The tick, and there's a tick right there, and then the hand goes right after. You see a little tick right here, but this one actually has 2 ticks. So we know it's probably 2 minutes after or something, or maybe it's very little. It's 1 minute after or 2 minutes after, something like that. It's a little bit after, and it just happens to be that this is Hawaii and this is New York. Just happens to be a little bit after 9 at night. Would exactly be in time zone until November 1st. It changes, and there's 5 hours in between them. Another thing that tells me this probably will be in October, because November 1st I think is the time change, and then Hawaii doesn't change, but then the mainland changes, I think except for Arizona or something, but something like that. But then it'll be 5 hours difference, and this won't be the same. Anyway. So this is crazy. There might be another reason for that, but I'm not getting into that right now. But this is 6 hours difference. So a little bit after 9 p.m. in Hawaii is a little bit after 3 a.m. the next day in New York. And that's how I solved this thing as far as the time frame. Isn't that crazy? Plus, for this time and this time, we have this associated with this and this associated with this, because this has to do with Hawaii as well. And I'm going to show you why. What is this? This is a rabbit. This is a rabbit ears, arms, and legs going down the rabbit hole. Is when the abyss opens, because you're going. The idea of going down the rabbit hole is going into a new crazy place, and that's where we're going to. I'm going to. Well, I wouldn't call it crazy, but I call it a new amazing place. And then down here on earth is a new crazy place, as in the tribulation. And so that's why there's a rabbit right here. There's a big eye, nose of the rabbit, 2 ears, and that's the white rabbit. Follow the white rabbit, like in the Matrix. Again, follow the white rabbit, like in Alice in Wonderland, going down the rabbit hole to a crazy place. And there's a white rabbit right here. There's several white rabbits all over the place. But what's this in relationship to this? Let me show you. Upside down and backwards, the white rabbit is, with the big eye socket right here, it's a 9 right here. See this? It's a 9. And then this is a little wavy down here because this is a 3. See, that's a 3. And this is a 2 with a little short stubby bottom. It's a 2. So it's 9, 2, and then 3. So you can't point this thing all the way down. It's annoying. I hate this program. It lays out some things pretty decent, but it's got some really quirky things like this. I can't get this pointer to go down all the way. It's really crazy. So 9, 2, 3, and then the 3 is in like wavy in the kind of the base of the 9 here, whatever you call that. Okay, then right here, This says this is a 9 laying down backwards instead of a. It's also going to be a 6 upside down because 623 is 923. Then we have a 2 here, and then this is a 3. I got to cut it off here a little bit, but that's a 3. So we have 623 is 923, and this is 923 as well. So these are 2 attacks. This is New York, and this is this is New York, and this is Hawaii. Now let me show you why this is Hawaii. Remember we had Hawaii down here as an island. Let me show you why this is Hawaii right here, and this is New York. This is obvious why this is New York. Here we go. Let me go over here. This is a crazy transition I found between 2 scenes. The scene of this oil derrick going and the oil coming down, which is, I believe, the Strait of Hormuz, which has to do with the aircraft carriers and when they're going to be attacked, probably. And this oil's dripping. It's going to cut off the strait, and the oil's going to just start dripping, and it's causing something right here. I'm not getting into that right now. But in this transition, it shows the New York and Hawaii Island with the tsunami thing right here. But then it shows right here. See this? This oil derrick is right here. This is the Hawaiian island. This is right here. This is Hawaii. If you go into the next scene, you'll see this big thing like this. This is if you were right off the coast down south of Hawaii. Kilauea is right in here. In fact, I've been right in here. From me and my wife's after our marriage, so we had a honeymoon is what it's called. I had a honeymoon. We went to the big island. We did all kinds of stuff. We had this body glove kind of snorkeling / diving thing over here, a ways off the coast here, and I pretty much had this view, which is, when I think about it, it's phenomenal. The Lord has you, and so I know what this view is. It's really crazy. So this is the Hawaiian island off from the shore, ways from south a bit, southeast a bit. And then you can see it. This is a Hawaiian island right here. Kilauea is right about here. And this, you can see, this is exploding. See, this is Kilauea exploding. This is fire and ash and smoke and everything coming up from here. And then right over here is that number 9. Okay, there was a 9. Remember that 9 right here, right there. Number 9 when I blew up. And that's a little bit after 9 is when this is going to blow. This is crazy. If you see this is crazy. This is Hawaiian Island like this. Like this. And by the way, this is another scene of aircraft carrier and another ship getting destroyed, maybe around the same time. I don't know. So boom, right here. This is going off right here at the same time. This is happening in New York. So it's an overlap of different scenes. I just happened to pause it here. The Lord worked to me somehow. I could not believe this. And so 9 p.m., 3 a.m., same time with 2 overlapping scenes. It's amazing. So hopefully that makes sense. It's crazy. Okay, and then this is when war starts for sure. I mean, when war is basically, I think World War III kicks off when the United States is knocked out. Okay, and that's through nuclear war. That's on the 23rd. I said it was the yin and yang, or the half moon, half light, half dark. So it's showing for like the moon shining, it's showing a yin and yang. See that yin and yang right here? Like I said, and that means, hey, birth happened, yin and yang, birth. It's right there, yin and yang. It's a dark, it's kind of obscured, and you're like, what is that? Okay, it's a yin and yang. It's a moon. It's the moon shining in the darkness. It's kind of crazy. And then here comes war and tanks. Looks like Chinese tanks coming. So as soon as the United States is knocked out of the way, China is free to go and invade the United States. Okay, I'm almost done here. This is crazy. I didn't think it would take this long. But anyway, okay. Boom, it's crazy. So that's yin and yang. That proves that. And then also the 13/14 day period I'm talking about, there's 13 teeth. And this 13th one has got a little pyramid at the top, which makes it 14. 14 pyramids in this thing. 14, and that's the 14th. The 13th day /14. And the reason why 14 is so important to the Antichrist is because if you look at the back of the dollar bill, where there is the pyramid and the capstone, you can count 13 layers, and the 14th is the pyramid, is the eye in the triangle on the top. And that's why Stinky BO is 7/7, or 7 + 7. That's why he's 777 and 7 × 7 and all kinds of stuff, because he's that capstone. It's amazing. So that's all there as well. And then here's the death figure, Baron Hamadi or Hamadi. Baron Samad. Oh my gosh, Samadi or something like that. He's a voodoo god, but it's also showing. It's a number of things. I'm gonna get into all that right now because that's another video. But anyway, he's grabbing her on the death day, which is, again, I'm saying the last day, which is nukes, because he's got the explosions going on behind him. Okay, and those are the nukes, as well as it's a new year. And I'm going to talk to you about what that is, what I believe that is. I believe it's a spiritual new year. And then right here, he's got an L, a light L in his tooth, and then this is a U. You can't see anything that really makes out, but this is crazy. You just see this. This is an L, which is 12. Then U is 21. 2 plus 1 is 3. That's 12-3, or October 23rd. So 12-3 is also 1, and then you take away the 0, and then you have the 23rd, which is 1, 2, 3. 12-3 is also 1, 2, 3, or October 23rd. Take away the 0 is 1, 2, 3. Okay, boom. And then we also have, this is a ministry. So years ago, I started looking into what the actual calendar was. I wanted to see when the the 50-year cycle, the Jubilees and all that stuff was ended. And I was looking into a lot of different things. I wanted to figure out what the real calendar was. And I was pretty sure by my research that some people call God's creation calendar is based on the sun, moon, stars, and God's word, and how in the word it says about these different constellations. And I'm not going to get into all that. I'll let, if you want to look into that, Mr. Michael Shabbat's Scriptural Studies YouTube channel, and I'll have a link in the description box, and you can check it out. But he did a recent video showing what the actual, he's done videos about the actual beginning of the year, which was actually April, based on and by the way, there's several versions of the Bible that actually say the new moon is the full moon, and I believe for sure that's been changed. That's what the evidence shows. Instead of it being new moon and full moon, it actually was changed, and it's actually it still even exists in some versions. It says new moon is the full moon, because God is does not change like shifting shadows. And the enemy uses shadows as his timing. Like a sundial is based on shadows. The God uses all lights because he's a father of heavenly lights. He does not change like shifting shadows. So he uses all lights. He uses the full moon, the light of the full moon for his new months and his new years, and he uses other constellations and all kinds of stuff to prove that out. And I'll let, again, Michael Shabbat explain that if you want to look at his channel, look at some of his last videos, even going back to the beginning of the year, talking about that. But the beginning of the year started on April 9th, and that was in the evening that a full moon happened. And then the next following day at sunrise, again, the sun, the light, again, we have sun, moon, and stars, and they're all lights. So we have the full moon governs the night in a sense, and then the sun governs the day. So it's it's kind of like that. So it's not a new moon, it's completely black. Completely black. Of course the enemy's going to use that as a shadow. And like the other evidence of that is God says in the Bible that he hates their feast days. So that means, I was either on the fact that because the Torah calendar was, as far as man's calendar, as far as Israel, it's a more accurate Jewish calendar, because God's blood moons and other things in this, like the Revelation 12 sign, Feast of Trumpets, and all kinds of stuff, it nailed it on the Torah calendar more than even the accepted calendar by Israel, the Jewish calendar by Israel, the state of Israel. Okay, so even the Torah calendar is even more accurate than that. But even more accurate than that is God's creation calendar, because he hates their feast days based on their own calendar, on their own methods and everything. And the creation calendar it keeps moving by the cycle of these lights. All these lights and the sun, moon, stars, and all the markers and things in the Word and what the Word talks about. Again, I'm not going to get into all that, but as I said, another reason why, right here, if you can see this, it says October 23rd, or the seventh, representing the seventh month. The seventh full moon was on October 1st. This last full moon, October 1st, was the seventh full moon. The next day after this, so that was at the nighttime. The next day after that is the sunrise. It's by the governing of the lights. Sunrise is the second. The 2nd of October becomes the first day, and according to God's word, the 8th day, the last great day, the 8th day of Tabernacles, which I believe ties into everything I'm talking about, because I believe the Tabernacles, the 8th day of Tabernacles, is the last day of God's religious feasts or festivals and everything. And so that's the last day of the year, in a sense. So we have a new year beginning on the 23rd, which is the last, and that's my guesstimate. That's my, my hypothesis right now, that may be that's why the fireworks are going off with the the skeleton guy and everything, all that stuff with the Baron, and all this stuff, is because it's God's real new year, and that's when God will tabernacle with his people, or we will tabernacle with God, in a sense. So It's crazy. So I think it matches on the 23rd, exactly my last day, 22nd going into the 23rd, and it's the 23rd in Israel. And look at this. Actually, 6:48 in the morning is almost, is if you go 7 hours difference back to New York, which is 7 hours, it's a little bit before midnight in New York, which is crazy. So it's actually the 22nd in New York at this time, and it's the 23rd in Jerusalem. So this fits for the 22nd, 23rd thing I'm talking about. It's crazy. And it might be right at the transition. It could be right at midnight for all I know. It's just amazing. Okay, so anyway, does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. But if it doesn't, I put a link in the description box. Look that up. I'm not getting into any more of that. But it's basically the 22nd day of the 7th month is the 8th day of Tabernacles, as the Bible calls it, the last great day. And I think it's the last great day of God's year, his spiritual year, ultimately. And a lot of people don't know this. And this might be that. Okay, so that's what I'm guessing right now. Because I don't know all this stuff completely, of course. I mean, the best thing you can do is you give your best guess. Okay, I'm not prophesying anything. Okay, I'm prophesying. What I am prophesying, if I'm going to prophesy anything, is I'm saying the end times are about here. I'm saying CKBO is the Antichrist because I've been revealed that by God many ways from Sunday. And I'm saying that the Pope is the Pope is the false prophet. I'm saying things like that. I'm saying we will have. I'm prophesying because I've been given dreams and visions about carriers being attacked. I'm prophesying that we'll have 2 mega tsunamis, and I had a dream about a mega tsunami hitting people and killing people and stuff. And I got in the Lord's Ark, and I'm getting all that. I did videos on that, all that stuff. I'm prophesying those. Yes, absolutely, I am, and I have been. But I don't know the time. I don't know exactly the day or hour or anything like that. Even though I don't believe that's what that says when the Bible says no man knows the day or hour. That's not what that's saying. It's talking about something else. I'm not getting into all that right now. So we can know the time, the season, everything like that. So anyway, and then let me show you this towards the end here. Again, those are those explosions, and this proves even more that this is the last. Again, this is the end of God's it's the end of the year. It's the last great day. It's the new year going into the next year. Explosions. It's a spiritual thing. And then look right behind him. In fact, I found, and I showed in videos, I found tons of 623s all over here, or 236s, and all these explosions. Pretty crazy. Backward and upside down, as you can see right here, is a 2. I can't draw with this, but this is a 2. I could draw with 3, 6, 2, 3, 6. But you can see I did it right here. But as I try to draw it with this though, but you can see right here, there's a 2. There's the top of the 2. It goes down. I can't draw with it. And then you got 3 and 6. You see that 2, 3, 6, or 23rd of the 6th month, and when 6 is really 9, so 23 days and 9 months into the year. Boom, man, wow. Okay, and then Barack Hussein Obama in Jewish gematria is 623. Remember all the 623s I found in iPad Goat? There's far more than I showed. So thank you. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope this makes sense. And this is phenomenal stuff. And when you add it to my other 2 videos, it's a pretty compelling case. And we'll see what happens. We'll see if something happens today, but I'm not saying something definitely is going to happen today. Something definitely going to happen today symbolically. Who knows what it is, and it might even be somewhat private or somewhat symbolic with the elites or whatever, because it may be. I don't know. We'll see if there's a flood or something, or if a dam breaks. I don't know. But I never said there's definitely something on the first day. So we'll see. And then again, if we're looking for on the 4th and the 5th day, possibly. Again, I'm still saying possibly, I don't know for sure. We're looking on the 4th and 5th day, going into late, maybe the midnight, or depending on your time zone, 4th and the 5th day, which is the 13/14th, being some kind of meteorite or comet attack on a city or something. And then, of course, the 7th and 8th day is Stinky BO Day and Trumpet Day. Both should be attacked. If this is right on this timeline, that's what my grand guess is. And then, of course, 11th and 12th day will be the tsunamis, which will be the 20th and 21st. And then the nuclear happens, destroys the country. Probably about 23 different cities, I'm guessing, based on the number 23. And the nukes will go off in 23 major cities, is what I'm guessing, to completely make America laid low. And like my dream said, 923, America's laid low. So anyway, we'll see when this actually happens, if it's this time or not. But we're getting super close to when it's going to happen. So thank you for your prayers. Thank you for everything. Thank you for your support. those who have supported me, I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. I'm just standing in front of you and I'm shaking your hand. I'm thanking you and I'm hugging you. And I so appreciate it. You don't have to give. And I so appreciate it very so much. Every one of you that's given, I thank you so much. And the ones who pray, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much from my family, my kids. I'm so thankful. So, and then please share these videos. And if anything, like I said, I don't know if the time's going to hit or not, but these codes and these events are huge, and I'm trying to read this thing. And I appreciate any insight you have to add to it if you have. And I thank you for your encouragement and everything. I appreciate it. And all you people that give me a thumb down for no reason or whatever, God bless you too. Whatever. You know what? I don't have angst against people, even though people treat me bad and call me all kinds of names and all kinds of stuff, death threat me and stuff. Whatever. So anyway, this is Exalted Lamb 1. And I want to say also, please like and comment. Okay. Please like and comment. And like I said, thanks for watching. And also make sure the notification bell is clicked on, and subscribe if you like. Then you'll get other things when I put them on, especially with notification bells turned on, because YouTube likes to turn it off. I mean, I've heard that from many people. So again, this is Exalted Lamb 1. God bless you in Jesus' name. Over and out.